Hello and welcome back to another episode of Nash Batch Adventures brings you Dad Tips. Today on Dad Tips, we are going to be learning how to sink an anchor in drywall in order to hang up a picture. And again, it's so easy that a 10-year-old could do it.
Hi,
again,
I'm a 10-year-old.
Scarlett, our 10-year-old, is going to be helping us out today. So we are going to be sinking an anchor into drywall, and I'm going to show you two different kinds of anchors that you can use. In my opinion, they're the easiest kind. So we're going to be doing that. And just hopefully you can follow along, and good luck. So the first kind of anchor that I'm going to use is the typical kind. So if we look real closely, this is pretty typical for an anchor. It's just a piece of plastic that goes into the drywall, and the screw actually goes inside it. Okay, so the first thing you want to do on your wall is to make sure that you actually do need an anchor. So anchors are used for hollow parts behind the drywall. Because over here on the side, you usually have pieces of board back here that the drywall actually goes on. So it's real easy to tell. So I like the knocking method myself. So if you knock on the wall, and then you knock over here, did you hear the sound difference there? It's a completely different sound for the hollow part versus where the board is. Find the spot of your wall that you want to hang the picture. A lot of times you'll measure out, make sure you find the center part, things like that. That'll be another video. Today we're just learning how to actually sink the anchor itself. So one of the things I like to do, the screw that we're actually going to be using to hang up the picture with is what I like to start the hole with. So we go in, find our spot, and then we go ahead and drill this screw in, all the way in, and then bring it back out. So now we have a nice little hole that we're going to end up putting our anchor in. So now that we have our starter hole, one of the tips I learned a long time ago, you can use a small diameter screwdriver, and you can actually increase the hole size just a little bit. It makes it just a little bit easier for your anchor to fit into. So you just kind of force it in. And then once you get it all the way in, you just kind of roll it around just a bit. You don't want to do too hard because then the anchor will be too loose in there. But you want to get that hole to a size that the anchor will fit just a little bit better in.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is sink the anchor. So this is the anchor. Well, what we're going to need is the anchor, of course, and then a hammer. So what you're going to want to do first is push in the anchor as far as it can go with your hands. And then use your hammer to barely just tap it. And you want to make sure your hammer is straight for this so that you don't bend the plastic.
Screw into the anchor using our drill. You can also use a screwdriver. Drills are a little bit easier just because the mechanics of it does the work for you. So the first thing we want to do is get this screw up to the anchor. Okay. We position our drill. Okay. Now you want to make sure that you keep your drill as straight as possible. Okay, while you're pushing this in. Otherwise, you could put a hole on one side or the other because the drill likes to slip sometimes. So you want to give it a little bit of pressure. You can start out slow. Get that screw all the way in there, and you want to leave it about 1/4 to 1/2 inch out. And voila! Now we've got the screw in the wall. The only thing left to do is actually hang the picture on the screw, as my beautiful little assistant is attempting to do. There you go. And
Hey, ew, it's not straight.
and now you've learned how to sink an anchor into drywall to hang a picture.
Good job!
Yay!
Yay!
Nash Batch basement, only because I want to show you guys the second kind of anchor, but I don't actually have another picture that I want to hang up. So with this anchor, this one's a little bit different. So this one, as you can tell, it has a little bit of a bladed tip on it. This one actually drills into the drywall by itself. And see, you can use your drill, just like a screwdriver, to put this one into the drywall. So once we find our spot that we want to put it in, this one takes a little bit more pressure than the other one because you actually have to push it pretty hard in with your fingers. And that, like I said, you can just use the drill itself. It actually makes the hole for you. The nice thing is once it gets to this point, these little blades right here just go in just like a screw. You can just sink it, just like that. Bam. You don't need a hammer, you don't need anything else. All you need is a drill for that one. So this one's a little bit easier to sink. It does get a little bit more flush, but it does take a little bit more pressure to put that one in than the other kind. So there you have it, 2 different ways to sink an anchor to hang a picture. See you next time on Nash Batch Adventures.